Hey, what's up, Kevin? Let me get the camera adjusted here a little bit and we'll kind of get going. If you're watching this as a replay, this is a replay of live stream, and I say this at the beginning of all of them. They're always kind of messy because there's no editing, there's no cutting things up. It's just live video and there's no way to edit it once it does go live. So we'll wait a minute though for some people to join. And one of the things, if you're watching this on the replay, you'll see me looking at the camera, kind of talking to people. Well, that's just comments coming down the screen. So anyway, so we're finishing up day 2 of the Metalwork clinic here. And this one we had 2 guys, and this was kind of really the first official one that I've done. I've done several with just one guy, you know, that sees something in the video, wants to come over, somebody that's within a couple hours away. And we've had good luck with those. And this is the one a little bit more formal, 2 guys involved in it. So one guy had, like, he wanted to focus on TIG welding, and I brought some samples out here of what we did yesterday. And then the other guy, who's in there now still, had some projects. He's working on his own CNC plasma table and combo CNC plasma and router. It's a 2x4. He's using CNCrouterparts.com to get all of his components, but he wanted to build his motor brackets himself. So we did a lot of layout and a lot of manual milling and milling slots and counterboring and stuff like that. So, and he's finishing up here on day 2. What's up, Ray? I see a lot of other guys joining there as well. I can't catch everybody's name coming up, but just know that I see your name coming in when you pop up there. So anyway, hey DM, we are going in here, and I'll just give you a look real quick. So you see, that's Larry back there working on the mill. So he had never used a milling machine before, and he was a little nervous about it, but he used it. I spent about maybe 30 minutes with him, and he used it all day yesterday, and he's going to be doing it a half a day in there today. So anyway, then we had Jeff yesterday, who mostly wanted to do TIG welding, and he had why am I losing everybody? That's weird. I don't know if people are dropping off or I lost the live stream. Can you guys see me now? Somebody leave a comment and let me know if you can see, if we're still live here. When I step inside, I lose, sometimes it'll lose signal for a little bit and come back. Okay, I see Ray still hanging in there. All right, cool. So anyway, we had Jeff here yesterday, who was here most of the day, and he wanted to focus on TIG welding and CNC plasma. So right off the bat, we were able to discover, because he bought a Lincoln, oh gosh, I don't know all the model numbers, but he bought a really nice little Lincoln TIG welder, 200 amp machine. I mean, it's a nice machine. And he'd had a few little problems with it here and there. So we cut a bunch of scraps out. Let me just show you what we did here. And once I got Larry going on the milling machine, I worked with Jeff on the, I'm just making sure you can see that. So this is the very first thing that Jeff welded, and this is what he started off with. And I'm not trying to call him out. I mean, he's a beginner TIG welder, just got his first machine. And what was happening is he's got a nice Lincoln welding helmet, and so I switched helmets with him, and I noticed right off the bat when I lit up with his helmet, it blinded me. And so something was, and he also had an insert in there for the cheater lenses, so there was something going on with his helmet. So I switched helmet. I got another helmet out and gave him mine, and it was a like night and day difference for him. And then he, the very next thing he did was he laid this bead down, which is pretty nice. So anyway, we did a lot on mild steel, just working some different things and just kind of working on some different techniques and hand position, propping, all these kind of things. And you know, we went to some thicker stuff here, and he laid down some really nice fillet welds on this some 3/8 and quarter that we just lapped together, and hopefully those are showing up in camera there. But he did a nice job on that. And we switched over and did some aluminum, which he also did pretty good on, you know, right out of the gate. I had a little bit of a hard issue with my machine, which we were using on this. Took me a minute to get the settings right, and then so you see those aluminum beads, and then we put some we hooked up the helium mix, and you did some 3/8 inch plate and just did a T-joint there. And this little bitty first section was what I would do is I would weld a little bit, just like an inch or two, and let him watch, and then he kind of took it and went from there. But this down here was really consistent, really nice. So then after we did that in the afternoon, we did about a 2-hour session on the plasma table, and just to walk, you know, I just came up with a little simple bracket in Fusion 360, and I made each one of them go through creating the bracket based on some predefined dimensions that I just sketched out on paper. And so doing the Fusion 360, setting up the cam, setting up the controller, getting the feed rates, the cut speed, the cut height, all that stuff you'd look up in the book, and then cut out the bracket. And so we did that. And then Jeff cut out, he wanted to make some house numbers for his house. He brought his own steel, and we did those. And then he wanted to have a circle with a star in the middle and an M in the middle of that, which is his last name. And so he had a picture of it, and we just designed it, and he did most of the design work, and we did that in Inkscape. So you know, the feedback from both these guys has been great. I mean, especially Jeff on, you know, just discovering little things. And you know what it reminds me of is that when I first started learning to paint on YouTube, I had guys like Shut Your Face Garage and VW Darren and James Freddy's, a lot of guys actually trying to help me learn how to paint. And when I first hooked up the paint gun, I couldn't get the paint to come out, and it was just splotting out, and just, you know, was terrible. And so, you know, it calls for what's up, old school? It calls for hey William, glad you're joining from Scotland there. So anyway, it calls for 10 psi, and so I would set the pressure to 10 psi, and it just would spit and sputter, and, you know, wouldn't really do anything. Well, what it is it's 10 psi at the air cap on the gun, and most guns are rated for that. And they don't give you a rating for what the inlet pressure needs to be. It's an internal pressure inside the gun. What's up, Cohen? So I screwed around with that forever, you know, and I was getting very discouraged. And, you know, so a lot of times when you're new to something and you don't have any formal training, you don't have any work history at it, you know, there can be a struggle. So pay a little bit of money, go down, you know, do this little clinic, and we discover right off the bat some little quick things that just make a big difference, you know. And had there been a paint gun clinic when I was coming along trying to learn how to paint, I would have paid it, and I would have took it, and you know, probably have learned a lot. Now later when I, you know, started doing more on YouTube and learning from guys like Shut Your Face Garage, you know, they would watch my videos and see what I was doing, and then, you know, give me tips and things on how to improve it, just by watching me do it in videos. And so that was a big help. But anyway, I didn't get it. You know, I'm not doing a lot this weekend in terms of, you know, making stuff. I just cut out. I had Eco Mouse. I make these brackets for Four Fields Furniture. I'll show you this real quick. And they're little individual brackets, and we decided to do this instead, which is going to be a breakaway. It just finished, the job just finished, it's still hot, but we did this breakaway grid, so that instead of these individual ones, one of the pains in the butt with them is they would fall through the table, and I'd have to fish them all out of the water. But now we got a complete grid. Hopefully, yeah, it pops out of there, and it's there's 60 of them in this panel, and so they should just break away, or you might have to just nip them with a grinder. But EcoMouse did the CAD work on that, so instead of, you know, on something like that, you have to do that in CAD. You cannot nest breakaway tabs in CAM, at least not that I've been aware of. So you have to redo your CAD to create that. So that's the first one I've cut, and it looks like it's going to work out well there. So anyway, another, you know, kind of issue I had this week was I was trying to get my, you know, my weeds cut out here, and you can see there where, you know, where I was working on it, and with my neighbor's tractor here. And here's that time when I borrowed somebody else's equipment, and I broke it. It's inside, and I'd probably lose signal if I went in there, but basically this drive shaft here for the bush hog attachment, it's got two U-joints on it, one back here, and then it's got another slip yoke that goes into the PTO, or slips up on the PTO splines right there. And the U-joint right here, it actually broke, and the middle, this setup here had come loose. So the owner of the tractor, my friend Lewis, said, well, the pin that I put in there, I don't have a keeper on it. And I'm like, so how do you keep the pin in there? And he goes, well, I just pay attention to it. I just put it in and just make sure it stays in there. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. And I've used it a couple times and it never came out before. So hey, what's up, Cecil? So anyway, I was trying to get my facility cleaned up a little bit better here and not have all these high weeds, given that I had, you know, visitors coming and all that. So, but that bush hog right there is a Prodland. Even though it looks like a Kubota, it's not. It's made by Prodland, which I guess they make a lot of accessories for Kubota stuff, and they're painted orange. They look just like Kubota, but the U-joint did not have a number on it, and it was just it was really difficult to figure out, and it was about 30 bucks for the U-joint. And when I was getting ready to put the U-joint in the yoke, I noticed the yoke was bent. So you know, then I'd be looking at trying to bend it back, and could I bend it and get it, you know, lined up where, you know, basically the forks of the U-joint or the yoke like this were splayed out like that instead of being, you know, square to each other. So my confidence in being able to bend that was pretty low. So I found online that I can buy that whole front half of the drive shaft with the U-joint in it for $78, and the U-joint itself was $30. So I'm going to take the U-joint back to O'Reilly and order that whole drive shaft section on Monday and get it fixed and finish cutting my grass. And so this week was extremely busy. I had a bunch of metal art orders that all sort of came in at once. You know, I went for a while and wasn't really that busy. And let's see. Hang on a second here. You okay, Larry? Okay. Anyway, I heard the mill stop running. I want to check on him, make sure he was okay. So anyway, so we got Larry, who's come back for half a day on day 2, which is kind of part of it. The other guy elected not to come back. He got everything he needed in one day. So the productive procrastinator, I missed what that comment was there. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was just saying it was a busy week. I had all this metal art stuff to do, and I needed to get it painted so that it could cure over the weekend. I can ship them all out tomorrow. But I wanted to get all my paint stuff out of here, you know, where I had all the tarps spread out and taking up a lot of space, because would need it for working on these, you know, with these guys here. So we had 2 guys, and I would say that 3 people would really be the max and get good, you know, where everybody had, you know, got what they needed, because a lot of guys that are coming are, you know, they're just garage weekend guys, and you know, these things that we're learning, the milling machine, you know, the stuff I've got in here, a lot of them have never touched it before, just like a lot of it. Love fixing other people's stuff, don't you? Yes, I do. Old school. Anyway, you know, I can't just like show them for a couple minutes and then, you know, turn them loose. I got to stay nearby because, you know, it just takes a little bit to learn it. And so with 2 people, it was pretty good. I could float back and forth between them and you know, get a lot of one-on-one time, you know, in different ways. And again, these are basic things that we're learning here. I am not any expert. I'm not a really great teacher on any of it. I'm not trying to say that, but this is like, you know, people that have never operated a lathe, people that have never done anything with CNC plasma, just like I hadn't when I started this. And the nice thing about me is I've learned recently all of the difficulties, the things that you can run into that sometimes maybe experienced people would overlook because they just assume that you know how to use an indicator, for example. So the feedback was really good, and hopefully we'll get some more of them, and some people will be interested in coming. Cannon Builder, I have 3 spray guns. They're right here. I'll go grab a couple of them and show them to you. So Cannon Builder's asking about the guns. This is the one you probably see me using most in the videos. I don't really show my clear coat work because it makes so much overspray and I don't want to get it on the camera. So I'm usually just showing you the base and, you know, other stuff. But this is the DeVilbiss Techna, and it's probably a gun that's in the 300 range. I don't know what you can get them for now. In the $300 to $400 range, something like that. And it's just a middle of the road. It's not a top-end gun, but it's a good gun. So I use this one the most. This is a Segola gun made in Spain. This is a little mini detail gun. You'll see me using that some in videos. It's got a 1.0, just a little biplane flying over. 1.0 tip in that. And then this is my Iwata LPH 400 with the orange cap that Shut Your Face Garage turned me on to, and it's sweet. It really lays out the clear nice, and I'm getting better and better with it, you know, so I'm looking forward to getting in the paint booth and getting it going in there. But this is between $400 and $500. Probably by the time you pay shipping, if you get it with a cup and everything included, it's up in the $500 range, and would probably be a top tier gun right below a SATA. So these are my 3 main ones that you see me using in the videos. Anyway, so I just, you know, I've not done much myself this weekend to make videos on and upload, but I do have some footage of, you know, more paint booth footage coming up soon. And I have a little project I did for a neighbor that needed some heavy posts made for a carport overhang support. That's a load bearing, and I made some brackets, mounting brackets or plates, and cut it to length and all that. So I have a video coming up on that, and I've got I'd say 2 or 3 more metal art jobs that I need to knock out here early next week and get a lot of shipping done, and then hopefully I can get back on the paint booth in a big way and make some progress on that, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks get to where I'm painting in there. But I've got to set my paint stuff back up in the shop in here and do a little more painting, because I got stuff that's got to go out. And for one, I need to collect their money, and two, you know, they want their stuff, and I don't blame them. So, hey, what's up, Kirk? Kirk, you'd probably like this. I was just showing somebody asked, who was that? Oh, Cannon Builder was it, that asked me about paint guns. I was just showing the ones I'm using. So, all right, Cannon Builder, you bet. I'd be happy to do some kind of collaboration with you. So let me know, send me a message with what you have in mind on that. And you know, my selection of metal art stuff, I really have I don't really do that much stuff. You know, when people request things, I make them. But there's so many other guys that have CNC plasma tables. There's one called Redline Steel, one called Metalworks, one called M3, I think. Man, these guys crank out tons and tons and tons of projects with some really cool stuff. And I just, you know, being one guy, and I do a lot of other things other than just metal art. You know, I get various kinds of jobs in. Yeah, JC Smith on the disco ball. He liked my exit music on the last video. What song was that? I heard it on the radio. I was listening to something on the radio and it came on. I thought, you know, that'd be pretty cool to fade out a video with. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, if you use 10 or 15 seconds of a song that would normally be a pop song, the YouTube algorithms can't pick it up. It needs more of a sample than 15 seconds. If you have it playing for 20 seconds or more, it'll pick it up. But Dreamweaver, yeah, that was it. Okay. So anyway, Kirk, yeah, I saw that you I really like that Iwata. You know, I was mentioning earlier, Shut Your Face Garage told me for years, man, you need to get an Iwata LPH 400. He offered to send me his one time, and I don't know why I didn't do it. And he actually bought a Supernova. I don't know if he still has it or not. He may use the Supernova at work, but I can't remember if he still uses it. And he still prefers the Iwata LPH 400 with the orange cap over the Supernova, which is the top of the line gun, I think, from Iwata now. So anyway, you guys got any questions? I just thought I'd make a live stream this morning and give you an update. I haven't been making a lot of videos the last couple of days. Do you take down payment for orders, or do you make the items and then collect the work? Yeah. It really depends on who it's for. If I know the person, if it's somebody that's been a long time, you know, YouTube person, or it's somebody local or somebody off Facebook or social media that I know, no, I don't require them to pay up front. And I handle the shipping in a lot of different ways. I kind of have a pretty good rule, you know, an idea of what shipping costs, you know, for different sizes, and I'll just give them a flat rate on it. And sometimes it might cost me $1 or $2 more. Sometimes it might cost me $1 or $2 less. And if, you know, and I'm not afraid to say that, like, you know, for example, if I end up making a couple bucks more off the shipping that it actually cost me, you know, there's a lot involved in shipping metal art to get it packed where that it doesn't get scratched. I mean, it takes me sometimes about 20-30 minutes to pack up a piece, and you know, and so it's kind of a handling, you know, fee, if you will. So but if it's a random person that I've never met, like for example, I'm making I know Ray's on here, and I made him a couple Harley signs. I had a guy from Canada ask me, did I ship to Canada, and would I make him one of those Harley signs? He saw the video on it, and I said, yeah, I'll make you one, and yes, I can ship to Canada. I made him send me a pretty big down payment up front. Jacob, yes, the spotter is still there. Let me put my guns back up and I'll show you the spotter. But as far as how I do that, like I did those signs for Double R Restorations, and I gave him the actual shipping cost. Once I got it shipped out, I just, you know, hit him up and said, hey, you know, hey, here's what it's going to cost. But other people that I don't know and never heard from before, yes, I get them to give me a down payment. Usually $100, or if it's a big order, maybe more than that, but usually just like $100 bucks. But if it's somebody I know, and some other people will just send it to me in advance. They send a check-in, or most of the time it comes via PayPal though. But let me put these up and I'll show you the spotter. All right, if I can find a little grasshopper or cricket, we'll actually feed the spotter right here live on YouTube. But I'll get you in here tight where you can see this bad boy. So he just hanging out there, and there was another one like a twin to it in the back in a same kind of spot, but I had to get rid of him because he was in the way of where I was putting the wall up for the paint booth. I hated to disturb him, but I got up there with a little Tupperware bowl thing and just went up to the web and went and captured him right in the bowl, and I took him out to the barn and turned him loose out there because they seem very harmless, and they probably are doing a lot of good with getting the bugs out of here for me, because man, I am constantly under attack from bugs, crickets, grasshoppers, just being out in the country and all that, and mice, and it's a battle all the time, battling these insects and wasp nests. You know, if I don't go here, I'll show you. I'll walk down here real quick. I was out here mowing the other day, and I just discovered a huge wasp nest that I never even noticed. Now it's been like 2 months since I mowed, but we'll see if we can find it, and also find us a grasshopper while we're down here. Let's see. I don't know if that's going to show up right there or not, but you can see it. It's a huge one. It looks abandoned, but still. Okay, here we go. A couple of grasshoppers right here. Let's see if we can grab one. Oh, we got a baby on the back of one here. I missed that one. Let's see if we can get this little one. Oh yeah, it's spider feeding time. All right, I'm gonna stick you back on the tripod and try to get you as close of a look as I can, and I'll throw this into the web. And some of you guys saw the video I put up on it where I did that before, so you can see him there, and you see my grasshopper here. We'll give him a look at it. So I'm gonna try to hold the camera still where you can see this. Oh, he jumped off. Dadgummit. The spider was too slow. Let me get him. He's on my arm here. Dadgummit. Oh well. That was a little small one, and it got out of that web faster than the spider could get to him. I don't know where he went, but anyway, if you've never seen my spider feeding video, go watch it. I got a really good close-up footage of it, so you may want to check that out. Anyway, guys, I just thought I'd give you an update here this morning and see what was going on with you guys. So exactly, old school, little ecosystem nature out here. You know, we do a little Robin Hood, you know. So any questions or comments before we wrap it up? It's been about 30 minutes here. I'll wait a second or two, see if anybody's got anything they want to say, and I got to get back in here and help this guy and cut some more stuff out on the table. Yeah, Travis, I know. Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. But again, I have a feature dedicated video on feeding that spider with a close-up shot. So you can go watch that one if you want to see a win. But yes, that was a fail. Matt's intake. Yeah, we actually was working on a manifold for his, you know, to convert him over to to a single turbo, and you know, we had a full day in the shop here with him, and we had, because we didn't have the car down here, we were going off some pictures and some rough measurements. There's one part of it, the way the compressor housing is clocked on it, it's not, it's hitting into where we just, you know, fabbed up one of the up tubes. So, but we know how, it's going to be a simple fix. I got to cut one tube out, and it's just tacked as well. It's not fully welded. So I got to get it back down here and tack it, or cut it loose and remake one tube, and then we should be good to go. But good question there, Cecil. Compressor housing. Oh, the air compressor out back. Yeah. You know, that was Tuesday that they came. And how do you get customers? Mostly through YouTube or a website. I'm trying to get into the big time and not just local friends. Okay. So let me answer JC Smith first. The air compressor issue, that was Tuesday that they came and diagnosed it and said it needed a pump, and I called them on Friday. They were going to order the pump. Called the tech on Friday, and he said, I ordered it, hadn't heard anything back from it yet, but he said, I'll check on it for you and give you an update. Of course, I never heard anything back from him, so I'll probably give him until Tuesday. I'm not going to hassle him on Monday. You know, for techs, Monday is usually a pretty busy job. No matter what kind of field tech you are, it's always a busy day. So I'll wait until Tuesday, maybe sometime, and give him a call. The productive procrastinator was asking about my business. Honestly, it's kind of all over the place. I get a little bit from YouTube. I make a little bit of money off the YouTube videos, because I now have 700 videos on Shop Dog Sam. Wow, we have a star in the house. Shop Dog Sam from the east coast of Arkansas, by way of Nashville. By the way, are you still working on the lathe? I don't think maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen any videos on that in the last little while. Anyway, guys, so we got Fireman on there. The productive procrastinator is asking about where I get my business from. It's from the YouTube revenue from the videos, because I have 700 videos now, and there's a lot of older ones that, you know, get a lot of views on them every week, and those, you know, make $20 each or whatever, and it just kind of adds up. But the metal arts, you know, I get those. I have postings on eBay. I've got my own website. I get some things come through that. I get requests from social media, like Instagram. I've gotten a few jobs off of that. Facebook, I get a few jobs off of that. So it's just a, you know, a wide range, and then I get local jobs as well. That I do for little fabrication things. Occasionally a local metal art piece, but not that often. So it's just, you know, it's a $50 here, $100 there, and you just add it up, and it's enough for me to kind of hang in here and survive. So I mentioned on a previous video, I'm definitely not getting rich. I'm not making enough to repay for all these machines that I'm using. So I really, you know, I really need to get figure out a way to get more revenue coming in. And it's the same game everybody wants, right? We want to work less and make more. Well, you know, when you're self-employed, that's not exactly easy, because you're the guy. You're doing everything: the shipping, the marketing, the making the parts, making the products, packing them, shipping them. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. And, you know, when you're doing things like packing and shipping, or ordering supplies, or dealing with a down air compressor, you're not making money. You know, you're not making money doing that. So you got to ask yourself every day, like, you know, I spend a lot of time working on this stupid tractor here, and it's my neighbor's, and I'm not making any money off of that. You know, I can't really charge him for it. It broke when I was using it. Was it his fault that it broke? Partially, because he had a pin in there that didn't have a lock. But he's a good guy. He let me use his tractor all the time. I can go get it anytime I need. I don't have a tractor. I don't have the money to buy a tractor. So, you know, it's just one of those deals. But I spent a whole day screwing around with that thing, trying to get the right U-joint, and then found out it was broken. A lot of parts back and forth in to get videos. So Old School's asking about videos. Some of you guys, you know, Cecil, and some of you guys have been watching from when I first started on YouTube, which was, well, my first video on YouTube is in 2006, but on this channel. But, you know, what really got us going was working on restoring that Mustang for Matt. And, you know, that was a father and son build. And then, but I started trying to update my video production skills, you know, using multiple cameras. I don't do that as much now, but I still do it some, getting a lot of different shots from different points of view. And I don't do this on every video, but a lot of my videos, like the Metalwork videos and things like that, I really do a lot of jump cuts and a lot of quick edits, you know, where things are moving really fast. And some people like those, and then some people like to have things go slower and explain, and, you know, and all those. And it doesn't matter what kind of video I make, somebody's going to complain about it. Like I had comments come through on a video this morning that's about a year old that said, too much blabbering, too much talking, you know. Okay, well, why'd you watch it then, you know? And then I had other people comment on videos that I don't say anything in. It's just me doing a project and filming it, and it runs really fast, like a 3-minute video, going, well, why'd you make that so fast? And you didn't explain anything, and what's this and what's that? So that's why I make them both ways. I make some videos that are, you know, of course this is a live stream, and it's, you know, it's 30 minutes of me talking, but I make some videos of that are 2 to 3 minutes in length, like the one the other day of blowing up the can. That was a 30-second video, you know, TIG welding and I didn't say a word in it. And then I've got other videos that are 40 minutes long of me explaining every step and showing, you know, not a lot of fast forward and all that. But I have 3 cameras. I have a GoPro, I have a Nikon DSLR, and I have a iPhone 7. And so I use some combination of those depending on what shot I'm trying to get or where I'm doing. But I use my iPhone more often than not because I always have it with me. It's, you know, I don't have to worry about charging it because I keep it charged all the time. When I moved from corporate America into doing this full time, I had to get my own iPhone 7, and I got one with a 256 gig memory in it, which was expensive. But it's worth it because I never fill up my phone. It's 256 gigs. I've got tons of video on it, and I keep it purged out pretty good. But Ray asked about my software for editing. I use Final Cut Pro X or Final Cut Pro 10 on the Mac. You know, the premier software for video editing for YouTube creators is Adobe Premiere. It is, you know, kind of the Cadillac, and Final Cut Pro on the Mac is Mac software, and it's probably one step below Adobe Premiere. But Adobe Premiere is expensive. You can't even buy it anymore. It's one of those in the cloud services that you have to pay a monthly fee for. You never even own the software. And at least with Final Cut Pro, I own that. It's $300, but I bought it about maybe 3 years ago now, and I don't have to pay any annual maintenance on it. And I like Apple software, you know, because they don't hit you with those annual fees, and they do updates on them all the time. So the Apple software's, you know, there's some advantages to it. Now, their hardware is really expensive. You know, the MacBook I have is probably a $3,500 machine. Gotta go, ladies. Turning wheel. All right, hey, so I'll see you guys later. I know I've been rambling on. People asked some questions there, but hopefully those answered your questions, and I'm gonna get back in here and get to work, get some things done. So, all right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you later.